Co-main.
Yes, he will.
He will.
Co-main was my favourite fight so far this year.
It was pretty damn good. That was, I agree.
What a banger.
I agree. Yeah. How it didn't get fight of the night, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Who did get fight of the night?
Mackenzie Dern, her fight was fight of the night. I
What?
thought she won as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was pretty crazy, but this fight was better. For sure, this fight was better.
I think someone's got a crush on Mackenzie Dern. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it's me.
I'm sure it's all of us, mate.
I'm not saying it's me, but someone does, because what?
There's a picture of Mackenzie on the screen.
No, there's not.
But yeah, Rob versus Costa. Look, Costa clipped him hard at the start, at the end of the first round, which I think should have won him that round for sure. Like, that had to have won him, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I gave it to Costa.
Yeah.
I gave the first round to Costa, and then the second
the last two
to Rob.
To Rob.
And the third was just convincingly Rob.
Yeah. 100%. Rob won the fight. Costa, someone gave that first round to Rob.
What, one of the judges?
Yeah, it was 30-27 to Rob.
That's right, yeah.
Which is insane. I mean,
It's
watching
not insane.
Look, Rob won the round before that head kick, but when there's a moment that big, it's got to, right? Like, it's got, if there was like 30 seconds more, you know, it wasn't.
I agree, yeah.
But, you know, not that big of a deal. But, yeah, so Costa rocked him in early in the fight at the end of that first round, and then it was all Rob. He convincingly picked apart Costa's striking offense. No real ground, nothing. There was no wrestling at all. Costa going a bit bald.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Just on the top of his head. He's thinning out a bit.
He might even, look, I can see him being the kind of guy who'd get some plugs in there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Fuck
yeah.
What would he look like bald? Would he be as sexy as me? I don't think so.
No, he wouldn't. He'd look like Vanderlei Silva. Maybe not. What would he look like? I think he'd look alright. He's got that Chad face.
He does. Yeah, it's all in the jawline, isn't it? Look, I think that I was a bit worried about Rob's chin going into this, but I'm not anymore. And I know he got pretty rocked, but he recovered from it well. And the other thing too is he got hit clean with that wheel kick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that would have put most people on their ass. He didn't fall. God damn.
That was super impressive. Huge kick, landed clean. And Rob proved that he's got a hell of a chin. Like, because there was a few questions about that coming into this fight.
I was one of them.
Exactly.
I had some questions.
And he answered them.
He did.
With flying colours.
Thanks, Rob.
That guy could go on and win the belt again. For sure he could. And this fight, you've got to think, puts him into that number one contenders fight. And I know exactly who I want to match him up with.
Sean
Strickland.
Yes. I like that.
That's the perfect fight.
It's so good.
But Sean's too big of a star for him to like headline a non-pay-per-view now, though. You know what I mean? Sean is a huge star.
Look, the other thing too is they've been building some pretty decent fight nights.
They have, yeah.
And I think Sean versus Rob on the headliner of one of those
could be.
It's still a big draw.
I don't know. I think they're going to put Strickland's next fight on a pay-per-view card. Just for the pay-per-view points.
That would make sense.
Because that guy's a huge star, and then they don't have to pay him pay-per-view points for the people he brings in, which is big. I think 5 rounds, though. It's got to be 5 rounds. Co-main of maybe like UFC 303, 304. Rob versus Strickland. What a fight that would be. I think Strickland will do it. I think Rob will do it. I think Rob will. He's got the tools.
And these two have never been matched up before, which is another exciting part of it. Because if you scroll down on the rankings here, most of the middleweight division have kind of faced each other at some point.
Yeah, they have.
Because they're all, until you get to Brendan Allen, they're all kind of older dudes. Do you know what I mean?
They've been around a while.
They've been around the block.
I mean, Rob's 33, so he's coming into his prime for sure now. Like, he's got, 3 years left at the top of his game?
Yeah. He has fought a lot, though.
He's fought a lot.
I'll say that because, a lot of these guys who come into their prime at around 32 or 33, they are guys who haven't fought as much and haven't taken as much damage as Rob has.
Yeah.
He stayed very active throughout his career, but he did start very young.
He did. And he's been through a couple of weight classes. Look, I think he's got a while left on the ticker. He looked keen,
Okay.
And a lot of people would get rocked like that and it would take it out of them, but he came back in the second round
And he looked just as confident as he did when he stepped in the first. Yeah,
vigorous.
I agree.
I want to. Yeah, let's be real. Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker. That's the perfect fight.
That's the fight to make right now.
Perfect fight. What about Costa?
What about Costa?
What about Parlo and his secret juice?
That is interesting because I think we book up Hamzat versus Costa once again.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. It gives Costa a chance to get a high-profile win.
Yeah.
It's entertainment.
It is entertainment.
Personified.
And plus, it's Hamzat fighting a bona fide middleweight, someone who has fought at middleweight before. And it's a chance for him to get into the top 10. I think we'll see Costa possibly move down to 7th or 8th ranked after that loss. Yeah,
I mean, it was close, but yeah. I mean, I don't reckon he'll go below Imamov or Allen.
No?
For now, until they get a win.
Okay.
I don't know. Because that was Rob Whittaker, you know.
That's true.
He's a good guy.
He's a good fighter too.
Very good fighter. He's both. But Paulo versus Costa is...
Paulo versus Costa.
Paulo versus Chimaev. I always do that. Maybe I got CTE. Paulo Costa versus Chimaev. Perfect fight to make.
Thumbs up.
I want it to be a 5-round co-main again. I really do. I just think Strickland, Chimaev, Paulo, and Whittaker are all too big for fight night cards.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Strickland and Chimaev. They're too big of stars for fight night cards. They need to be on pay-per-view.
Yep.
So I want them both to be 5-round co-mains. I don't know. That's just me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that. A fight that I want to see in future as well is Paulo Costa versus Strickland. I think that brings some eyes. I also think that those styles up against each other, I think that's a tough fight for Strickland, to be honest.
Yeah. There's a lot of tough fights for Strickland.
Because Paulo has shown he's very durable. Saying that, if you can hit him with the jab, as Rob found, you can just point fight the guy. And he does struggle with that.
He does, for sure. And Rob's jab was so good.
It was slick, man.
Oh, my God. His combos were beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
His head movement, man. Like, he actually looked better than ever. And look, Rob looks great most fights. He looks better than ever, you know?
He looked mad.
He looked
on
mad.
his walkout. He looked mad.
Even in his pre-fight interviews and shit, there was a bit of like an energy about him of like, I'm gonna hurt Costa.
Apparently,
I'm gonna hurt Costa.
Apparently, I heard that he'd been like knocking people out in this.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah. Who skites about that?
Like, bro, you're not supposed to knock out your training partners, bruh. But yeah, moving on. Should we move on?
Yeah, we should.
Jeff Neal fought Ian Gary, and he lost.
Was it a fight? It looked like
it was garbage.
It looked like a man chasing down another man.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this fight. Look, I'm gonna say hats off to Ian Gary because
he got the win.
He got the win, and sure, there's some questions on the way that he was evading Jeff Neal the whole time. But the thing is Jeff Neal needed to be able to cut off the cage a bit more, and he just wasn't doing that. He wasn't listening to his corner. His hands went down about 2 minutes left in the second round, and he looked tired. So he was quite happy staying out of range as well.
Yeah, he needed to do much more. Like, I saw a tweet, and it was like, I think Jeff Neal lost that fight more than Ian Gary won it. You know? Like, it just didn't feel like a win. It just felt like Jeff disappointed. Gary did what he does.
Yep.
You know, and you know, he's got a point. If you were in the cage with Jeff Neal, you wouldn't just stand right in front of him and let him hit you. Would you?
No, but
saying that he was literally running away after every combo he landed, it was like skirting around the edges of the fucking.
I don't totally agree with that. I think there was some good counter striking implemented by Ian Gary.
Yeah,
he landed some good shots on the way out.
A lot of speed.
Yeah, a very very fast guy in terms of his head movement and footwork. But yeah, there was a lot of running going on. I won't take that away from what you're saying, but I don't think it's fair to say that every single combination Jeff landed, Ian scooted out of there.
I think they both could have done more to make the fight more entertaining for sure. But look, Ian Gary went in there to win, and he did, and he won. I thought it was pretty clear that he won.
Yeah, I think so too.
I thought it was 30-27. I thought all the rounds were pretty close, but I think Ian won every round. I just think he was better.
Yep. I think, that.
But it was so close.
I can't remember if it was the first or second round. I was a bit on the fence for who won it, but yeah, there was 2 rounds when I was sure that Ian took those.
Yeah.
No problem. Look, just jumping straight into it. There's quite an easy path to the belt if he wants it, in the form of, I think,
Colbeth.
Kobe Covington. When he fought Leon Edwards recently, he did not look in the greatest shape. Whether or not fighting a guy like Ian and being able to really break him down over a 2-month period in terms of the press conferences and the trash talk and all that kind of shit, I don't know if that's totally going to take an effect on Gary, because
seems pretty headstrong.
Yeah, he
does.
He does seem pretty headstrong for what he's been through in the last.
We put him through
what, 4 months now?
Yeah. No, I agree. He seems pretty fucking headstrong, and good on him. To be fair, I think Colby is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. The build up will be fun. If he can wrestle Gary, that's a big question that we all want to see answered.
Yeah,
if he can get his hands on him, take him down. Can Gary survive? He says he's got jiu-jitsu, but does he? We want to see it.
I think the other fight that could be a potential stepping stone there for him is Wonder Boy.
Yeah, Wonder Boy would be fun. That would be really fun. Maybe Wonder Boy and then one more until he fights for the title,
I think Gary has already said in a press conference, though, that Wonder Boy doesn't want to fight him.
Yeah, he said Wonder Boy's never going to take that fight or something. He did call him out at one point, and look, that would be a really fun fight. That would be a really fun fight, and I think Gary would struggle in that. Although Stephen he's older now, he's not as quick and as snappy as he was.
Ran straight through him.
But they're 2 different opponents,
Oh, yeah.
Oftentimes, if you strike with Wonder Boy, you don't come out on top,
Mm-hmm.
But Gary's got some insane striking skills, so maybe he could. I just want to see him fight Colby.
His kicks, bro.
Yeah, his kicks are good.
His kicks are insane.
Kicks. Very nice.
And the way he mixes them up, his head kicks are rapid too. They just come out of nowhere.
And that front teep to the knee, just to keep distance. Look, he's a great fighter. It was annoying me how they were like shoving his wife in front of the camera over and over again.
No one else's partner gets that attention.
No. And like they're not right there. She was like on the walkout area. Like I was like, why is she there? It's because they know.
They do.
They know exactly what they're doing. They're like, we'll put her on camera. It'll piss people off. And that's how we build a star or a heel. I think, though, look, Ian Gary has successfully made himself probably the biggest heel in the UFC now. He's not got all the fans, like their love. He's got their hate. And that's just as good.
Yeah. Well, it's even more powerful.
Even more, because everyone wants to see him lose.
Yep.
And I even on the verdict app, my head was saying Gary's going to win by decision. I literally was thinking that, but I was like, you know what? No. I want to see him fucking get knocked out so bad, and I think Jeff can do it. I'm going to put him down.
That's one thing I think we should bring up, the verdict.
Yeah.
What happened there? Who won this week?
It was close.
Was it?
We'll just say it was close.
Was it close?
Well, I was second. I picked all the same ones as you. You just put more XP on certain ones.
No, you didn't pick all the same ones.
Apart from Gary. I got more accurate predictions right, though. I picked round 2 submission by Hernandez. You picked round 3. Just saying.
Okay.
I picked Rob by decision. So did you.
I got 3,500 XP and you got 3,000.
So that's close. That's pretty close.
It's not bad.
But I like how me and you are at the top of that list by quite a margin. Yeah, all our friends, we all like do a verdict. You know who you are. We all do verdict picks, and basically every week it's always me and Jackson at the top. And I messaged Jackson, I was like, this is why we're the ones with the podcast. Huh?
We still need to get a job.
Great
though.
Insight. Oh yeah, we need to get a job. Just to let you know, guys, I'm looking for work. I'll do anything.
Yeah, I wonder if that guy who left that comment will give us a job.
I wonder if he has a job.
That's a good point.
I bet you he doesn't have a fucking job. Or if he does, I bet you it's minimum wage and he works at Macca's or some shit.
Yeah, we're not on minimum wage, just so you know. We're
there's no problem
high
working
rollers.
for minimum wage.
Yeah, there is. Get a
I mean, it
real
would
job.
suck. My tongue is so blue. Yours
Mine's
isn't.
not. Yeah, I'm built different.
We must drink drinks differently.
Maybe.
But think about it, like, because I kind of like squeeze it in and it goes against my tongue and then goes up.
Wow.
Like, well, how do you do it? Do you go?
I need to think about it now.
I guess you do it more. Oh, I go.
No, it was definitely against my tongue.
Interesting. Maybe we've got different types of tongue.
Well, I'm chewing gum as well. That might be ridding my tongue of the blueness.
That's true. Maybe the gum is blue.
It's not as white.
This is actually giving me a nice little burst of energy. I like it.
We should do gum reviews.
Gum reviews. Okay. Leave a comment if you want. If you got any gum that you want us to try.
You don't. You don't,
No,
do you?
Don't, do you?
You're not
moving
even
on.
listening.
Oh, we didn't match up Neil.
Neil.
He's already fought Luke, eh? He's already fought Thompson. He should fight down.
Do you know what I think? I think he should fight the winner of Kevin Holland and
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Michael Venom Page.
That'd be a good one.
Because I think either of those guys could beat Neil, and I want to see either of those guys moving into the top 10.
Same. I agree. That'd be a great fight. Good banger. And if Neil shows up, he could beat them both too.
Weehoo! We've done it again. We can't see you. Can you see us?
Yeah, they can see us.
Okay.
Sorry, as I clicked, what's up with us today?
It's not me. I'm on form.
Well, you pointed out that bug.
I'm going well today. I see everything.
Yeah,
I'm like Volk right before he got knocked out.
Yeah.
I see it all.
You're right.
Right.
Moving on.
2 more fights to break down, don't we?
Henry Cejudo versus Merab Dvalishvili. Henry looked good in the first round.
Yes, he did.
Merab looked really good in the second and third round.
I was on the edge of my seat for this. I don't know why, but
Same. Yeah.
I think I'd never seen Henry fight live before. I missed his fight against Aljo, and I heard not the greatest things about it, so I didn't watch it back.
It wasn't. It was a good fight, technical.
Yeah, but I enjoyed watching him fight. I think, did he talk about retirement in his
He's
post?
done. He took his gloves off. He said if he lost, he didn't get a post-fight speech. They didn't give him one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but
Okay.
he took his gloves off, and I think he was going to retire, or maybe I don't know something.
No, I meant the press conference afterwards. Did he have a chat?
Oh no, he
there?
didn't either.
Oh.
Because that would have popped up. We would have seen it, But no, he didn't announce anything. But in the before the fight, he said, "Look, if I lose, that's it from me." And look, the guy shouldn't have retired the first time.
No, I agree.
He retired in his prime, right after beating Dominic Cruz. Could have fought 2-3 more times, got 2-3 more title defenses in his prime while active, instead of taking a 3-year hiatus. He should have just kept fighting. But
I agree currently with his statement of being he's not the best UFC fighter of all time. He's not the best wrestler of all time, but I think he is one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time. One person I want to say who's in the UFC, who we have a little view of him on the left monitor right now. I don't know if you know who I'm going to say that might be coming for it, but Mr. Powhatan Alex Pereira, I think with his dominance in kickboxing and now being a 2-division champ in the UFC, I think he is in the conversation as well.
No, yeah, 100%. 100%. Him and, you've got the likes of, who else? I mean, you can say like Muhammad Ali. They're all in there in this boat.
Yeah, but
Daniel Cormier.
These guys were like
Funky
Muhammad
Ben
Ali.
Askren. Jokes.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali. I agree in terms of the popularity he brought to boxing and combat sports in general. But if you want to look at someone who's kind of gone across the board and done this, that, and everything, and been dominant in each field,
they can do it all.
Yeah, I think Henry and Alex are right up there at the top of my lists.
I agree. Who do you think? No, let's talk about Merab.
Yeah,
this guy, the machine that just doesn't stop coming. He's so good. He is so good. I would not want to fight him.
No,
I wouldn't want to train with him. He's scary. He just picked up Henry on the third round and dumped him in front of Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that was so funny. He was having fun in that third round, man.
Yeah.
And that was getting me nervous. I'm like, focus, Merab. I'm like, just stay focused.
To be fair, though, Henry looked like he was just done. Like,
yeah, he did.
By the time the third came around,
He's still dangerous though.
Yeah,
he's still got power in his hands, and he's still got threats. But
it's I think Henry has an issue of he's a great wrestler, but he fell in love with striking. Now he thinks that he's Conor McGregor on the feet when he's not. He's not a Conor McGregor on the feet. He looks like he is. He's trying to imitate him with his fucking little snake charming thing, but like he isn't. He's a great wrestler and he's got good striking. Okay, strike, like he's decent, right? Khabib said that there's a little back and forth they had, and Henry's like showing him a leg kick and trying to explain why this works and this, and Khabib's like, "How many guys have you knocked out in your career?" And he's like, 4 or 5 in the UFC, and Khabib's like, "You're an Olympic wrestler. Just take them down, you fucking idiot. Why are you talking about striking? Take them down. You're an Olympic wrestler. Olympic gold medal." And Henry's like,
That's quite a good Henry impression.
Yeah, that's what he does. But anyway, yeah.
And Merab, he was onto it with the wrestling. He was almost taking him down at will.
Yeah.
And that little trip that he used, that little sweep.
That was nice.
Oh, that was very nice.
Clean. I think the scorecards were read out correctly. 29-28 for Merab. Pretty easy to call that. Henry did have moments, but he's past it. Let's be real. Henry should retire. Merab should fight for the belt. I'm just going to say it right there.
And the other thing too is, Cejudo's not going out on a string of knockouts. He's not going out on a string of terrible losses when he looked way out of his depth. He just fought Aljamain Sterling for the belt on his return and lost by a split decision, and then turned around and fought the most dangerous contender in the bantamweight division that we have seen in years.
And he looked okay against both.
He looked pretty good against both, yeah.
If only he didn't take the 3 years off and he just stayed, he probably would have beaten both Aljo and Merab by this point, and probably fucking Sugar Sean, and he could have had a really long reign. He could have been really dominant, but...
Look, there's other things that come into it as well. You know, when you're a champ that is that dominant, if you want to say that he would have stuck around for that long, you get complacent and...
You never know what might have happened.
You never know, yeah, exactly. But I think you're right. I think Henry needs to go out.
There's no point in him. If he's not going to get a title fight, he's 37 now. He's a popular guy, and people like him.
He's a really talented coach as well.
Yeah,
he's great at breaking down the sport. He can see angles that other people might not be able to pick up on, and he's funny. But yeah, I think him coaching, or even him involved in the UFC media in some sort of way would be a great sidestep for his career.
Yeah, he could do like Spanish speaking or something.
We are running out of time, so shall we move on to Hernandez?
Yeah, let's talk about Hernandez versus Kopylov.
Yeah.
So Hernandez made it look pretty easy. We called this. We said, look, Kopylov's good, but his takedown defense is trash. He didn't even get taken down. He fell, and then he just got his back.
His takedown defense isn't trash.
Well, he looked good in that fight.
Previous to that, he hadn't been
average.
taken down for the last 20 attempts that people had attempted on him.
Well,
did you know that?
There you go, little stat man, Stat man Jackson.
Well, they spat it out while they were talking about the fight.
But when I've watched him before, I've seen him get taken down relatively easy by much lesser opponents too than Hernandez, who was a jiu-jitsu world champion. So that's why I thought, I think he's going to take him down, and I think he's going to submit him, and he did.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't get the first takedown or the second or even the third, I don't think. But he just kept chipping away, and by the time that he spent a bit of time hanging around on the back and locked that choke in, boom.
Yeah, no, it was pretty. Again, I'm not going to say easy. I don't think it was easy because a fight's never easy. But Kopylov just didn't have any moments, and Hernandez looked like he was, relatively, pretty calm and at ease that whole time. And he does look like Dylan.
Yeah, Hernandez. He does. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Mexican Dylan.
I just want to point out one thing quickly, just while it's still fresh on our minds. We didn't match up Merab, but he's obviously needs to fight for the belt next. Henry, we said we want to retire, but Anthony Hernandez, who do we want to see him up against?
So Anthony Hernandez coming in at middleweight. He's obviously 15th. He was supposed to fight. Who was he supposed to fight? the Hamzat guy, the guy who's kind of like Hamzat.
Wow.
Can't remember his name.
I don't know.
I'll find it. He was supposed to fight Aliskerov, Ikram.
Oh, okay.
Aliskerov.
Is he ranked?
No, he's not. So that could be...
No.
It's not really fair.
No, it's not.
He should fight up.
Definitely.
Paul Craig.
We match him up against a lot of people.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul Craig, great jiu-jitsu. Anthony Hernandez, great jiu-jitsu. We could see... Oh, but then they'll just end up fighting on the feet.
I think Roman Dolidze is quite a good...
Dolidze would be a good test.
Because...
jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah. And the other thing too is Dolidze's just coming off a loss.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Dolidze. Dolidze's got some power in his hands as well. Don't get it twisted. So both jiu-jitsu guys, it's going to be interesting. If they do start grappling, it'll be very interesting and cool to watch. But if they don't, you'd think Dolidze probably has the advantage on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a very good matchup. In terms of Kopylov, he's got to go backwards, He's got to fight another unranked guy, someone who's maybe a striker, who he can display his skills against. Needs to work on his grappling. He looked like a bit of a fish out of water once he got taken down.
Yeah, he did.
He gave up the back twice. He did escape once, but he gave it up
One trick
again.
pony.
Yeah. And oh look, Anthony Hernandez is great on the feet.
Oh yeah.
But
his pressure was great.
Yeah.
He just kept him on the back foot for the majority of that fight, and that's why he just could keep shooting for those takedowns over and over again, is because he was mixing it up with his striking so well.
Yeah. He kind of he found it easy to get in, and then he pressured him against the fence or whatever. And yeah, you're right.
I normally am.
Yeah.
Shall we brush over
you're also bald.
prelims? The prelims.
Yeah, let's have a look at the prelims.
The prelims.
Preliminary. The prelims. So it was a very short prelim card. Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. I thought Dern won that.
So did Dern.
Yeah, she did. She thought she got the announcement, eh?
She threw her arms up in the air when they read someone else's name out.
And her name is not even close.
No. That's got to be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's Mackenzie Dern, so
she's hot, so I'll let it slide.
We'll let it slide. Lemos looked like she looked very good when she was on, but then she got taken down and kind of held there. That's obviously a big point for her. Obviously, Dern's amazing on the ground, so it's always going to be difficult. But Lemos also had a lot of issues on the ground against Weili Zhang. So Lemos, very dangerous though with the hands. Some knockout power in those hands. She brutalized Mackenzie Dern. Brutalized her
her
in
leg.
the second round. And her face.
Yeah.
Bloodied her up.
Yeah, just
Mackenzie Dern's
pepper in her.
Did you think Dern won as well? I don't know. Maybe I was just
No,
confused.
I don't think so. I think, look, there's obviously going to be arguments from both sides. That's the problem when you leave it in the judge's hands. But if you were to leave it in my hands, if you were to leave Mackenzie Dern in my hands,
she would win.
She would, yeah. In my arms. No, look, I think Lemos did enough to win.
Yeah.
But it's always tricky when you have someone like Dern who does take them down and dominate the last kind of round and a half, maybe. It kind of makes you forget about the first round of dominance, and the way that she did kind of pick her apart on the feet, I think, yeah, it did answer more questions, whereas Dern couldn't finish things on the ground. So
and Dern looked very, very trash on the feet.
Yep, and she didn't have too many submission attempts on the ground either. So when you take someone down, you need to be active. You need to be pressuring them. Yeah, I agree. You need to be thrown in a submission attempt. You need to be ground and pounding them. And unfortunately, there wasn't enough of any of those factors to give her the win.
DeLima versus Junior Taffa. I was going to say Justin. This was. You can tell he stepped in late, and he was a fish out of water against a much better opponent.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot smaller as well. DeLima's huge.
It is huge.
Leg kick TKO.
Taffa looks like he would be a perfect size for light heavyweight if he just lost the weight.
Lost the flubber.
But DeLima, pressured him in the best way that he... I don't know if that was a calculated thing or if he just noticed that he could land every single leg kick he threw. The other thing I want to say is where was the Taffa just, all he needed to do was switch stance. I know it's obviously not as comfortable fighting out of your opposite stance, but when your leg is that chewed up, man.
He just couldn't do it. He kept switching back. He must just not have the southpaw stance in his arsenal. As you know, he must just be so much more comfortable in orthodox, which is a shame. You know, you need to be well versed in both, but that's a good learning point for him. You know,
I want to say his corner gave him some very good advice between rounds.
Oh, yeah,
they said, "You can do it, G.
Do it, G.
You can fucking do it, G." So that was pretty mean.
Yeah, that was good.
I think that was great corner
I appreciated
advice.
that. I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I think anyone who's sitting there and getting their ass beat, if you have a corner man like that,
you're going to win. But he didn't. But maybe DeLima overheard them and he was like, oh, that's what he's going to try and do.
Yeah,
then,
he's going to try and do it, G.
And then he was like, I'm not going to let him.
I'm not going to let him fucking do it, G.
Rinya Nakamura looking very impressive.
Yeah.
Dominated Vera, both on the feet and on the ground.
Yeah, I want to see this guy take another unranked fight. Maybe it might even be another preliminary kind of fight, or it could possibly be on the fringes of a main card. Yeah. Possibly, he could even.
This guy's good.
Could even be co-main of a fight night.
Maybe. Maybe he's good for sure. He's good. This guy's gonna go places.
But I wanted to see him get a finish this fight. You know.
Yeah. So he did too.
And
he kind of pointed. That
he
out.
said, he said he broke his hand, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's not good.
I think so.
You don't want that.
Very nice for him. Poor guy.